And the next one, assuming the trend is linear and using whichever model, and I'd obviously advise you to stick with the additive model if you've done the additive up here. You need to estimate the level of home loan approvals or estimate the level of Y for 2019. In other words, you're forecasting. Okay, so in this example, what we need to do is we're going to take this equation again. Okay, and we're going to use these as estimates. So the estimate of Y is equal to the trend estimate equal to the seasonal component that we're going to estimate. Okay, here's a formula you need to know. And obviously, because it's open book, I want you to write it down because it's not going to be in your formula sheet. So if you can have this handy, if you have pen and paper handy, write this formula down. I'll just do it in words. Change in the trend. Okay, I'll just keep it simple. Last minus the first divided by n minus 1. Okay, you need to know that formula. To change in the trend, last minus the first figure, trend figure, divided by n minus 1. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to do before we even forecast what Y is going to be. And just to let you know, we have one equation here, and there's 3 unknowns because we don't know what the actual values, home loan approvals will be in 2019. We don't know the trend because we didn't have it. If you remember, it stopped at Q2 in 2018. And we don't have a seasonal component figure because we don't have Y and T for 2019. So these are all going to be guesses or estimates. Okay, but if you have one equation and 3 unknowns, it's expected that we can't even do this. But even if you had one known value, you still find it difficult to do this. But the good thing is we have the value for S that we're going to use because we had just looked at it in part 1. We estimated those seasonal values and we smoothed them out so that we can drop those figures into any future year like 2019. So at least we have those values that we just found. The trend figure we're going to find now. And once we find that trend figure, we're going to add it onto your S value to get our Y. So the change in trend is going to be our last trend figure. If we go back up to the question, the last trend figure we have is your 7.9. That's what's available. That's the last one. And the first one we have available to us is this here. So the last figure was 7.9. The first one was 27.7. And we divide that by n minus 1. Does anyone tell me what the value of n is? I'm just going to show you the question. I don't want to tell you
Is it 12?
Why is it 12?
It's the number of trends.
Yeah, definitely it has to be based on the number of trends. Some people will look at the home loan approvals and they'll count these up, or they look at the number of quarters and count those up. But we're dealing with a trend that has to be here, the number of trend figures. So don't put in 13 based on there being 13 quarters or 13 Y values. Okay, and again, if someone could calculate that, it'd be great. It's going to be a negative answer anyway. So 7.9 minus 27.7 divided by 11, because 12 minus 1 is 11.
Minus 1.8.
So just to let you know what that figure means. The negative 1.8 tells us that on average, the trend in home loan approvals has fallen by 1.8 quarter on quarter. Okay, so again, that still seems technical. Okay, but look here, look at the trend figure. The trend figure was 27.7 and it fell to 24.1. That's a change of 3.6. But then here it jumped up by only 0.2. And then it fell here by 0.9. And then it fell here by 2, etc. So you see the falls, and maybe there's another rise down here. But on average, some quarter on quarter changes are larger than others. Some are negative, some are positive. But on average, we've calculated that it's a negative firstly, and on average they fall by 1.8. That's all it's saying. On the average, it falls by 1.8. So if you look here, assuming the trend is linear, so all we're saying is that it doesn't have this kind of fluctuation going up and down. And what it does, we're assuming it's going to have a straight line, a linear line in the future, which is unlikely, but we're just going to make a guess. We're going to say that from that last figure that we have here of 7.9, the next figure is going to be a change of 1.8 negative. So what do you think your figure is going to be for 2018 Q3?
6.1.
6.1. So 7.9 minus 1.8 is 6.1. But we have to forecast 2019. If you look at the question, we need 2019, quarter 1 and 2. So that's only covering 2018, quarter 3. So how do we get to 2019, quarter 1? Well, we have to do quarter 4 for 2018 as well. So if this was a 6.1, because 7.9 minus 1.8 is going to give us 6.1, we need to subtract 1.8 from that again to get us another figure. And then we subtract again 1.8 to get us into quarter 1, 2019, and subtract again by 1.8. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I'll go into Excel to do that. I'm just going to use this table here. I'm going to complete quarter 4, and then 1, 2 for 2019. So what I'm doing here is the forecast. So because I don't have a figure here, I need to make the adjustment. The change in the trend we found was minus 1.8 or 6.1. But I just keep on repeating that. I subtract 1.8 from 6.1 and we'll get 4.3. We're looking for 2019, quarter 1 and 2. So again, I just subtract 4.3 from, or the 1.8 from the 4.3, 2.5, and finally, yeah, 0.7, all subtracting 1.8 from the previous number. And we've completed our forecast using the trend, okay? Well, our question in part 2 was to find home loan approvals, the value of Y, okay? So we need to find a value of Y here for quarter 1 and 2. Good thing is we have the trend, but do we have a seasonal component? And what could we use? Because we need S values because the formula, here it is, look, Y is equal to T plus S. We have now a value for the trend, T. We need to get a value for S in order to get the value, our answer for Y. So we have the trend values. Where are we going to get the S values?
From the adjusted seasonal average.
Yeah, see I have it highlighted in blue. I just need quarter 1 and 2 because that's all I'm asked to do. So in my one anyway, I have a 0.83 and likewise I have a 2.5. And now I can actually get my value for the Y or my forecast. Y is equal to T plus S. So adding those together, I have a 1.67. And adding the 0.7 with the 2.5, I have a 3.2. And that's what I'm expecting home loan approvals to be, or at the time to be in 2019, quarters 1 and 2.